Hi everyone, welcome back to Business Studies class. In last class we have seen the meaning, terms and the process of motivation, right? So in this class we will be learning the features of motivation and if possible we will go with importance of motivation. As you know, features, when we study the features, that is characteristics, you will understand the nature of that particular concept. What it is in actual we will be understanding by analyzing and studying the characteristics, that is features of motivation. So you can see here we have some 5 points which can be asked for 4 marks. The features, characteristics. What is this motivation actually? So first point says that motivation is an integral feeling. What is this motivation? It is an integral feeling. So the word motivation or motive, actually motivation terms we have seen now, motive, motivator and motivation we see. What is this motivation? It is stimulating someone to do something, isn't it? Making someone, creating a drive, urge in someone to do something is called your motivation. So unless we have discussed that unless you have a motive to achieve something, you will never be motivated. If you don't have an unsatisfied need, you will never be motivated. Even in our process of motivation we have seen that, right? Hence, all those things like motive, motivating or motivation is all a feeling of a person's internal feelings. They are not external things, right? So urge, where it develops internally. To achieve something, where the need arises, it is internally. So even motivation, it is a form of making someone to act in some way, in a particular way. See, a person might be lazy. Okay, the employee will consider in an organization, an employee is lazy. He is having potentials but he don't want to do. He is lazy. So initially there is a need to create need in him. There should be need in him so that we can use that need and we can make him or we can stimulate him to do something. So creation of need is important in such people. So all these things are internal feelings, isn't it? They are not seen by the people so easily. Unless and until a manager goes with that employee, he studies that employee, he moves with that employee, generally these things cannot be understood. Hence we say motivation is an integral feeling. It's an integral feeling that cannot be seen by everyone unless a manager is having an intention of motivating in order to perform good so that the organizational objectives are fulfilled. He may not able to find out the need of an employee. Hence we say motivation is an integral feeling, that is internal feeling. And next, it has a goal oriented behavior. So when you want to it is goal oriented, we can say simply. Okay, when I say motivation, what you are making him to do something, you are making him to achieve something. Is that clear? So it is directed towards a particular goal. If you say employee that if you do this, if your performance reaches this particular level, you will be promoted, isn't it? If your performance reaches this particular level, you will be promoted. This is the motivation given by the senior or manager. Then what happens? He behaves, if at all he is in need of getting promotion, then his behavior will be towards a particular goal, that is achievement of that particular target, because you want to get promotion. So a motivation is goal oriented behavior. When you motivate someone, you are fixing a goal in front of him and you are stimulating a particular to move towards that goal, that is achievement of that goal. Hence we say motivation is a goal oriented behavior. Then comes motivation can be either positive or negative. Yes, motivation can be positive or negative. Sometimes it might be a negative motivation in order to achieve something. Okay, see, if an employee does not have any promotions, see, in case of recruitment we have seen sorry, if every time if you go with external recruitment, you don't give any chance for promotions and transfers. Okay, means you are not using in your internal recruitment. then what happens? The policy undertaken by the company, that is external recruitment, will motivate the employees in a negative way, that they don't strive to be efficient, because they have come to know that we don't have any promotion. If we work for 10 to 20 years also, we'll be in the same position. We'll never have a increase in our status. Salary might be increased, but status will never be increased. Position will not be increased. Authorities will never be increased. In such a case, what happens? That policy, that recruitment policy, that is recruiting people externally, always leads to what? A negative motivation to the employee. Is that clear? Hence, motivation can be positive or negative. Hence, a manager should be very careful. His decision, his words, his tools are motivating the employees in a positive way or negative way, he should consider. Then, motivation is not a straightforward process. No, not at all. It is not at all a straightforward process. You have seen the process of motivation. First, it starts with what? Unsatisfied need. Unsatisfied need makes what? Generally, frustration. With frustration, what happens? The drive will be created. Once the drive, that is urge to do something, once that is created, it gives for selection of behavior. Once you adopt a particular type of behavior, then it leads to what? Satisfaction. Then once you are satisfied, your stress will be reduced, your frustration will be no frustration stage you will receive. So if you consider this entire process, 6 stages in the different process, what happens? Nothing is straightforward. You cannot make that only these things will happen. No. The unsatisfied need creates frustration in someone and does not in someone. Did you observe such people in your life? They know they are in need of something, but they don't have any frustration. Means they don't feel bad that they don't have. Is that clear? Same thing. Frustration has to lead to what? A drive to achieve what they need. That is satisfy. They want to satisfy their need. That particular behavior has to be found in a person, but in many people we don't find that. Though they are frustrated, they don't want to do anything. They don't get any drive of doing something. They don't have any urge to complete something. Is it clear? The same thing happens with all the stages. It means your motivation is not a straightforward process as we discussed. It is an hypothetical situation. Means it happens, it may happen like this, and in many cases it happens like this, but in all cases it does not happen like that. Is that clear? Hence we say it is not a straightforward process. And lastly, motivation is a continuous process. As we say, management is continuous process, planning is continuous process. Similarly, we understand motivation is a continuous process, but because once you achieve that goal, there that ends. Again, if you want to achieve something, you should again have motivation. Is that clear? Hence we say, as we set the goals, we have to be motivated to achieve the goal. Hence we say motivation is a continuous process. It ends once we achieve. Again you will be setting another goal. Again your motivation process starts. So these are the features of your motivation. Initially we have seen it is an internal feeling. It is not seen so externally. So the manager has to actually find out the need of a person and work out as per that. And it is goal oriented, means a motivation always leads to what? Achievement of goal. And then motivation can be positive and negative, and it is not basically straightforward process. It may happen like this in some cases and may not happen like this in some other cases, all because it deals with the human beings. We know that all are not same. People react in a different way with the different things. And lastly, it is a continuous process because goals are continuous. Once you achieve a goal, you will be setting another goal for yourself. You don't relax after completion of a particular goal. You'll set another goal. It might be of a different area, different thing, but you'll set another goal. So when goal is set, again you have to motivated in order to achieve your goal. Hence we say it is a continuous process. I hope simple to understand the features of motivation. And next comes the importance of motivation. This is more important topic because it can be asked for 4 marks. Unless a manager understands the importance of motivation, he cannot motivate the employees. Is it clear? We know that directing is a key function, that is directing initiate people to work. It is a directing function which makes employees to work as per the requirement. It is a directing which confirms that organizational goals will be achieved. If not, what happens? Everything is ready. You have planned, you have organized everything, you have appointed staff, but no directing is there. People are not working as per your expectation. Employees are not working as per your expectation. Managers are unable to make them work as per your expectation. Then what happens? Everything fails. Hence we say directing is a key function. Why? Because it motivates people to work as per the requirement so that the organization achieves. Of motivation can be understood with the following points, like it improves performance level, indifferent attitudes can be changed, reduction in resistance to change, reduction of employee turnover and absenteeism, healthy corporate image, productive use of resources, increased efficiency and output, achievement of goals, development of friendly relationship, and lastly stability in workforce. If all these things are understood by a manager, he really uses an appropriate motivation tool in order to motivate the different types of employees present in an organization. First, it is important to understand that motivation will improve the performance of an employee. That is, the efficiency of an organization or individual employee will be developed, increased with motivation. Yes or not? You test and see yourself. If someone motivates you with something with a right tool, generally your performance will increase. Isn't it? The same thing happens in an organization. If a manager uses a right tool, it will be having a good effect on employee and his performance increases. Like salary, if you say, if it is a case that if employee reaches a particular target, he might be getting extra pay, generally his performance will increase if he is motivated with that particular tool. For example, some other types of needs will be there to the employee. What are those types of needs? We'll be seeing later. But some might be very interested to get a position. Monetary benefit you don't have any importance. He needs some position, status. So to that employee, your motivation tool should be status. That is non-monetary benefit it is. So you can motivate him by saying that if your target reaches, you will be the head of this particular department. Then he'll be motivated with that. In that way, the performance levels will be increased through motivation. The second, indifferent attitudes can be changed. That is, we know that people in an organization, that is employees in an organization, may be from different areas with different culture, okay, different ideology. So generally their attitudes may not match with each other. Hence it becomes difficult to manage the different types of attitudes by a manager. But through his motivation techniques, by using the different tools, he can make difference in the area. Okay, so in a classroom also you can see the efficient lecturer can bring coordination and cooperation among the students of different areas or different ideology. Is it happens or not? We see that. Okay, it is through their right motivational tool, the indifferent attitudes of different employees can be made one, because they have to be unified. Coordination has to be brought, because we know that coordination is an essence. If they are not happy with each other, if they are not having harmony between each other, then what happens? They cannot coordinate each other, hence they cannot work in an unity. Is it clear? And we know that management always goes with group efforts. It is not the individual efforts which gives success to an organization, it is a group efforts. In order to bring the group efforts, there should exist peace, and that can be brought through your motivational tools. Then reduction in resistance to change. Generally we know that employees resist the change. They don't want to make some changes. They are adopted, they are acquainted with a particular type of nature and they don't want to change. But always we know that business exists in dynamic situation, and it is very essential that business has to change. The activities in an organization has to change according to the necessity. But in general, people resist that. But if with the help of a manager who is using motivation as its elements, can make people to adjust with the change, that is what reduction in resistance to change. That is, resistance to change can be reduced. Now employees and managers, everyone agree and move in the path of harmony so that they can achieve organizational goals. Even motivation reduces the employee turnover and absenteeism. I told you what is this employee turnover. Number of people oftenly leaving and joining the organization is called labor turnover. Actually, labor turnover, more labor turnover is not an healthy condition to an organization, because every time new employees join, so you have to give them training. They are new, again they leave the organization, someone else will come, again you have to give them training. So this is not actually a healthy condition in an organization. Employees should be stable. They should work for minimum few years so that they are acquainted with the workplace and all, so that things will move on smoothly. The new employee always he needs instruction, supervision, that happens. But if you don't have a good motivation tools, what happens? The employee may leave. Example I told you, like a recruitment policy, if employees comes to know that they don't have any promotions, it will motivate them in a negative way, and what they do, they want to leave the organization. Okay, or else if you don't have any award or reward for your extra work, generally they don't want to do any extra work. And if you are not motivating them towards the right thing, if when they are not confident about that, if you don't motivate them, they remain absent. You might be seeing many students remain absent for the test. Why? Because they know that if they get less marks, they'll get scoldings from the teachers, lecturers, and even from the parents. So what they do, the simple way, they escape from the test. Why this happens? Because they are not motivated to in a right way. But if a lecturer tries to say them what is the benefit of attaining the test, you may score more or less, that is different, but at least if you attend, you will know all these things like this. If they say the right things and if they get motivated, surely they'll attend the test. They don't remain absent. The same thing happens in the organization also. If you use right motivational tools, labor turnover will be reduced. That is, employees will not leave your organization, they will be stable, and even they don't remain absent for the work. Then comes, it brings healthy corporate image. Healthy corporate image in the sense, company's image, the goodwill of the company will be more if you have good motivation. See, through motivation, even some type of affection, there will be a good relation between the organization and the employee. Generally that gives a goodwill to the people. Then next, productive use of resources. That is sure, when you are motivating someone to use the resources in a careful way, and what is the benefits of that, they'll use in a right way, hence it will be a productive use of resource. And we know that motivation, through motivation your performance level increases, hence your efficiency and almost output of an organization will also increase. And it leads to what? Generally achievement of goals. That is the basic need of an organization or a manager, that they want to achieve the goals, and that can be done through motivating. See, for example, your family might be having a goal, and it is you and like all the family members has to work towards that goal, hence that goal can be achieved. Hence, if you motivate each other, then what happens? You will work as per the necessity and your goal of the family will be achieved. And even it develops friendly relationships. So generally what happens, because motivation avoids the indifferences between different people and different attitudes, generally a harmonial, or we can say a friendly relationship will be developed within an organization, which will give a sense of security to the people. See, for example, you are working in a industry or an organization where you don't have any good relationship with your colleague, so that environment will never give them a kind of security. Okay, but through motivation, if a manager is able to avoid the indifferences between the people, generally a friendly environment will be created, and that gives a great satisfaction and security to the employees. That is also one of the non-monetary motivational tool we see. And lastly, stability in workforce. So when you are avoiding this absenteeism and labor turnover, generally the workforce, that is the employees of an organization, will work in an organization for number of years. That is what stability. So if you have a good motivational tools, and if you are a good motivator, generally your employees will never leave an organization. They will be stable in the organization, means they will be working for your organization even in case of difficulty. Sometimes what happens, there might be difficult situation where the company is unable to pay them salary, but only because of a good relationship, healthy relationship between the employees and the company, they'll work without salaries. Even we have lots of examples like that. Okay, even in such situation, if you are a good motivator and if your company takes care of these motivational tools, surely it will be helpful in times of difficulties. So all these are your points which explains the importance of motivation. By understanding this, a motivator, that is a manager, should be a good motivator. He has to use the different tools. We'll be seeing what are the different tools. He has to analyze the employees and find out what type of need they have. If there is no need, there is a necessity to create need. In all these ways, he has to work out, and he has to see that employees are motivated and they work as per expectation and they reach the organizational goal. So in next class, we'll be seeing the most important concept of this particular motivation topic, that is Maslow's theory, will be studying. Okay, take the help of your notes and test book so that you are good with this importance and features which can be asked for 4 marks. Till we meet in our next class, take care.